When Adam got down on one knee at sunset in front of my entire family, I thought my life was finally coming together. After a rocky dating history, including a pretty painful breakup with my college boyfriend Jason, I was finally moving forward. Adam was kind, reliable, funny in a dad joke kind of way, and most importantly, he made me feel safe. Not overly flashy, not intense, just safe. I was done with the drama, or at least I thought I was. Our engagement was perfect. The ring wasn't huge, but it sparkled just right in the light, and my parents absolutely adored him. Within a week, I was knee-deep in wedding planning boards and Pinterest saves. I knew what I wanted: a charming vineyard setting, string lights, soft blush florals, and a day that felt like a page out of a romantic novel. But the planning stress? That hit me fast. Between my job, family expectations, and the guest list turning into a monster, I needed help. Real professional help. That's when I decided to hire a wedding planner. I reached out to a boutique agency that had rave reviews online. Their coordinator, Alina, called me back that same afternoon. She sounded warm, professional, and experienced. Her voice had that calm reassurance that made me believe she could take care of the chaos I was already drowning in. I was relieved. I scheduled our first meeting for the next day. Now, here's where things started to get weird. When Alina walked into the cafe where we were meeting, my stomach dropped. You ever have that feeling when your brain recognizes someone before your eyes do? Like your body's warning you something's off? Yeah, that happened. Her hair was darker now, styled differently, and she wore heavier makeup, but I knew that face. It was Jason's new wife, the woman he cheated on me with, the woman he left me for. Alina. She didn't flinch. She smiled like she'd never seen me before in her life. "Hi, you must be Kayla," she said, extending her hand like this wasn't completely insane. My voice caught for a second, but I played it cool. "Yeah, that's me. Thanks for meeting me." I wanted to walk out. I wanted to tell her I knew exactly who she was and exactly what she'd done. But a part of me, the part that still felt bruised from how Jason ended things, wanted to watch. I wanted to see what she'd do. I told myself it would be fine, that I'd keep things professional, make sure the wedding stayed on track, and not let the past mess up my future. But looking back now, that was the moment I should have walked away. Because what I didn't realize was she already had a plan of her own. At first, everything seemed fine. Alina was responsive, organized, and honestly, too perfect. She'd text me with updates, send me sample decor options that matched my vision board, and even got us a discount on the vineyard venue I had dreamed about. Adam was impressed. My mom said she was a blessing. But me? Deep down, I was still skeptical. I kept telling myself, she's a professional. Maybe she's changed. Maybe I was just being paranoid. Maybe I was letting old wounds blur my judgment. But then things started slipping. It began with the florist. I'd picked a small local florist run by this older couple who were known for their creative arrangements. I'd met with them, showed them my exact vision, and we were all on the same page. But 2 weeks later, Alina told me she had to switch florists because the original ones backed out. No explanation, no apology, just gone. When I tried calling the original florist to confirm, I got no answer. The next day, I received an email from them saying they'd never backed out. Alina had canceled the contract herself. That was the first time my gut screamed louder than my thoughts. I asked Alina about it directly. Her tone shifted slightly, cooler, almost irritated. "I thought I was hired to make decisions and remove your stress," she said, almost like a threat, dressed up as concern. Adam told me to let it go. He reminded me how stressed I was when I started the process, and how much time she was saving me. I didn't want to argue. I wanted to believe everything would work out, but I started documenting everything. Emails, texts, every little interaction. Then came the catering. We'd agreed on a farm-to-table menu, sourced locally. I'd even had a tasting and approved it. But a month before the wedding, I got an invoice from a completely different company, one I'd never even heard of, with a totally different menu. When I confronted her this time, she blamed supply issues and said the original caterer had to back out. But when I checked the original company's social media, they were posting new wedding photos every day, clearly still operating. I started feeling like I was being gaslit. But the breaking point came when my dress didn't show up for my final fitting. I had ordered my dress months ago, paid in full. It was supposed to be at the boutique for final tailoring. But when I showed up, the owner looked confused. She told me it had been canceled. Canceled. I stood there, holding back tears, wondering if I was losing my mind. I hadn't canceled anything, and suddenly it hit me like a freight train. This wasn't just sabotage. This was personal. Alina wasn't trying to plan my wedding. She was trying to destroy it. That's when I knew I had to stop doubting myself and start fighting back. I didn't sleep much that night. I kept replaying every little moment in my head, every weird excuse, every sudden change she made without asking. It all fit too perfectly. I wasn't just dealing with a bad planner, I was being targeted. And not by just anyone. By my ex's new wife. She knew exactly what this wedding meant to me. And more importantly, she knew how to make it unravel without leaving obvious fingerprints. But she didn't count on me snapping out of my daze. I stopped reacting and started planning. First, I got in touch with every vendor she'd supposedly replaced. The florist, the caterer, the DJ. I asked for written confirmations of their cancellations and why they happened. Every one of them said the same thing. Alina canceled without explanation. Some were even confused, thinking I had changed my mind. I saved it all. Next, I spoke with the boutique owner where I bought my dress. She was kind and furious on my behalf. After showing her proof of purchase and the timeline, she contacted the shipping vendor directly. Turns out, Alina had emailed them, pretending to be me, asking to return the dress due to a change of heart. She even used a fake Gmail address with my name on it. That was the final piece I needed, but I didn't confront her directly. Not yet. Instead, I played it cool, kept thanking her for her hard work, even though it made my skin crawl. Then I set up a final coordination meeting, a fake one. I invited her, my fiancé, my mom, and a few of the vendors. I also brought my friend Jen, who happens to be a lawyer, just to sit in silently and observe. The goal? Catch her off guard in a room where she couldn't wriggle out with sweet words or fake professionalism. When the meeting started, she came in all smiles. That fake, sugary voice that used to make me feel insecure. She started talking about last-minute plans like nothing was wrong. That's when I began asking questions, polite at first. So, why exactly did you cancel the florist? She stumbled. Then, and why did my dress get sent back when I have proof I paid in full? Her voice cracked. When I pulled out the printed emails and screenshots, her messages, her fake Gmail address, even her call logs with the vendors, her face turned pale. She tried to deny it at first, but Jen stepped in and reminded her that impersonating someone and altering contractual agreements without consent was illegal. The room went silent. Adam looked stunned. He had no idea how deep this went. My mom started crying. And Alina? She finally broke. Started rambling about how she didn't think I deserved a perfect wedding after how things ended with her husband. How she thought I'd ruined her life. It was pathetic. But I didn't yell, I didn't scream. I just told her to leave and that my lawyer would be in touch. After Alina left that meeting, I sat there in total silence for what felt like an hour. My mom held my hand. Adam looked heartbroken, not just for me, but because someone had tried so hard to hurt us on a day meant for love. But you know what? I didn't cry. I didn't break down. I didn't feel defeated. I felt clear. For the first time in weeks, I could finally see what mattered. And it wasn't the flowers, the seating chart, or the signature cocktail. It was the fact that I was still standing. I still had the love of my life by my side. And even with all that chaos, I had time to fix this. And I was going to fix it. So I went straight into rebuild mode. We only had 2 weeks until the wedding. Not ideal, but I wasn't alone. That same night, I made a group text with everyone I trusted. Friends, family, old coworkers who had offered help months ago. And the response? Overwhelming. People stepped up left and right. Jen, my lawyer friend, helped me get legal protection in case Alina tried anything else. My cousin Maddie, who has a flair for design, volunteered to help redo the decor. Even my dad, who usually avoids drama like it's a disease, started calling vendors non-stop to confirm our new bookings. The original vendors, once they heard the full story, were incredibly kind. Some even gave discounts just to help us out. They said it wasn't about money, it was about principle, and maybe a little revenge. My dress? The boutique owner pulled magic. She overnighted the same design, altered it, and hand-delivered it herself. Every step I took to rebuild the wedding made me feel stronger, more in control, more like me again. But it wasn't just about planning the day. I had to emotionally rebuild too. Because deep down, I kept asking myself, why me? Why would someone go to such lengths to ruin what was supposed to be one of the happiest moments of my life? And the truth? Sometimes people never let go of old bitterness. Alina wasn't just trying to sabotage an event. She was trying to make me feel like I didn't deserve happiness. But I did. We all do. I wasn't going to let one broken person leave me feeling broken too. By the end of that week, the wedding was back on track. In fact, it was looking even more beautiful than before, because this time, everything came from love, support, and real community, not fake smiles or forced connections. And through it all, Adam showed up in every way that mattered. He didn't just comfort me, he helped build every part of the new plan. Not because he felt guilty, but because he wanted me to know I was never alone in this. That meant everything. The day finally came, our wedding day. And let me tell you, I've never woken up with so many emotions flooding my body at once. I was nervous, excited, hopeful, and maybe still carrying a little edge of fear. Not fear that something would go wrong, but fear that the past might still try to sneak its way into my moment. But once I stepped into that dress, something shifted. I looked in the mirror and saw a woman who had been through fire and came out stronger. A woman who refused to let bitterness win. A woman who, despite everything, was about to marry the love of her life. The ceremony was small, intimate, and breathtaking. We moved it outdoors under a canopy of twinkling lights and soft music. It was everything I didn't even know I wanted. My dad walked me down the aisle. My best friend stood by my side. Adam's eyes never left mine. I could feel the love radiating in that space, and not a single person was pretending. Everyone there was truly rooting for us. When we exchanged vows, I meant every word, not just the promises of love and support, but the unspoken message that said, we made it. No matter what came our way, we didn't break. But here's where it gets wild again. Just as we were walking out as husband and wife, I spotted someone near the gate. It was Alina. Yep, she showed up. She wasn't dressed for a wedding. She looked tense, maybe even a little ashamed. For a second, I expected a scene. My heart raced. But she didn't cause trouble. She didn't even say a word. She just stood there, watching from a distance. Then she left. And you know what? I didn't feel anger, I felt closure. Because that was her moment to see everything she tried to destroy thriving. I think deep down she thought she could break me or control the narrative. But all she did was show me my own strength and the people around me who lifted me up. The reception was pure joy. People danced, laughed, shared stories. And for the first time in weeks, I felt peace. No drama, no sabotage, just real, genuine happiness. Looking back, I wouldn't say I'm thankful for what happened, but I do appreciate what it taught me. I learned who was real. I learned how to stand up for myself. And most importantly, I learned that no matter how someone tries to derail your joy, they can't take what's truly yours, unless you let them. And I didn't let her. This wasn't just a wedding, it was my comeback. My way of saying, I see you, but you don't define me. Love won that day, and not the fairy tale kind, the kind you fight for, protect, and rebuild when it gets tested. If you're still listening, thank you. Because even telling this story is part of my healing, and maybe, just maybe, part of yours too.